V nemocnici hľadali miesto, ale nenašli 15 nemocnic.
Another female patient
V
with
nemocniciach
low
miesto.
oxygen passed away after she was brought to the GTP hospital.
Nemocnice nemajú dostatok kyslíka.
While the doctor tried to save her by giving her
Lekár
CPR
pokúšal
and even an
sa
injection.
Lekár sa pokúšal,
failed.
jej dal
She
injekciu
had been
a
denied admission
prvú
by 4
pomoc.
other hospitals.
Táto bola odmietnutá
Running
v 4
short of
iných
beds,
nemocnic.
patients could be seen lying
Nedostatok
outside the
posteli.
emergency ward of the GTP hospital as well. With people pleading hospital staff to provide their loved ones with oxygen masks.
Príbuzní sa pokúšajú zabezpečiť
India's
kyslík
healthcare
pre
system
svojich
is under
milovaných.
severe stress.
Je pod veľmi vážnym
With many
súžením
prominent hospitals
zdravotníctvom
reporting severe
v
shortage
Indii.
of oxygen and even beds.
Nedostatok kyslíku a nedostatok
The
posteli.
situation looks grim, to say the least.
Situácia vyzerá veľmi vážne. Pán hovoril so mnou práve teraz. On ma zobral do Indie. Pán ma zobral do nemocnice v Indii. Je tam veľké súženie. Lekári utekajú hore dole a mnoho ľudí zaplavujú nemocnice. Hlavné mesto Dili v Indii je na kolenách. Mnoho ľudí neprežije túto noc. India stoná pod prívalom nových pacientov koronavírusu.
And prepares to say the words he's had to say over and over again in the past day alone. She's no more. Her family, among hundreds in India, denied even the chance of saving a loved one. COVID-19 has hit this country with a ferocity not seen before.
We are definitely overburdened. We are already working at the full capacity, rather double of the capacity. Our initial ICU beds were less, but now we have increased just double the number of ICU beds. Initially it was only 54 ICU beds. Now we have 300 plus ICU beds.
बड़े भाई थे 38 साल के थे रिकवर हो गए थे ऑक्सीजन पे थे मेरे सामने तड़प के ऑक्सीजन की मशीन बंद हो गई कुछ नहीं आ रहा था मेरे सामने तड़प के खत्म हुए
Corona bodies.
जो गाड़ी में लगा उसको यूज कर लो ना यार योगेश ले लो
दोनों को जोड़ के इसमें डाल
Year-old Vishwaroop Sharma believes he is living in hell. 3 days ago, he drove his critically ill father, who contracted COVID, to a Delhi hospital and pleaded for help. With no beds, no oxygen, they were forced to wait outside.
He was saying that I won't be able to breathe. I need something. I need more medicines, but nothing is provided to him, and he died in front of me on my hand.
Pán hovoril so mnou práve teraz. On ma zobral do Indie. Pán ma zobral do nemocnice v Indii. Je tam veľmi veľké súženie. My tu zápasíme. Nemáme miesto, nemáme kyslík. Čo budeme robiť? Nemôžeme robiť veľa. Nemáme postele a nemáme kyslík. Situácia je tak zlá. Žiadajú a zapasia o kyslík. A pýtajú sa lekári, čo môžeme robiť. Pacienti zomierajú. My ako lekári, my potrebujeme nemocnice posteli. Nemôžeme dať pacientom kyslík a pacienti zomrú, keď im nedáme styk. Pacienti zomrú. My sa pokúšame im pomáhať, ale my nemáme kyslík.
In India, the reaction to the pandemic is now turning to anger. Recently in Delhi, A group of people turned on medics and security guards at a hospital after they discovered a 67-year-old relative was denied an ICU bed and instead died in a hospital waiting room. Similar scenes are playing out across the country. There's been anger south of Delhi when people have turned up at a hospital only to discover their relatives have died because there is not enough oxygen. Doctors say they don't have oxygen, they don't have beds, and they don't have medicines.
The Lord has spoken to me again right now.
Pán hovoril so mnou práve teraz. On ma zobral do Indie. Pán ma zobral do nemocnice v Indii. Je tam veľmi veľké súženie. Ľudia boli donútení urobiť z parkovného miesta krematórium, kde palia mŕtvoly, pretože krematória v Indii to nezvládali situáciu. Z parkovných miest sa stali krematória v Indii. Situácia v Indii je poza srdce zdrvujúcej situácie. Je horšia. Devastujúca situácia, srdcervúca, ktorá nastala v Indii. Miesto parkovných miest, miesto aut, tam teraz vidíte krematórium.
And the eyes of the world are on the faraway nation of India, where the virus is said to be swallowing people. Mass cremations are taking place in parking lots because crematoriums are overwhelmed. Some of the
Krematória sú úplne pohltené v Indii. To je dôvod, prečo parkovné miesta sú teraz zaplavené a prerobené krematória. Mutovaný kmeň koronavírusu spôsobil novú vlnu, viacej smrteľnejšiu, viacej serióznejšiu vlnu. 122 mŕtvych tiel pálili včera, hovorilo. 122. Keď nebudeme mať dostatok miest, budeme musieť páliť mŕtve tela von. Možno potom 20, 40, 50. Teraz máme miesto pre 100 ľudí. A my sme udivení, čo sa deje v Delhi. My sme nikdy nevideli tak strašnú situáciu.
There probably is no more graphic an illustration of just how bad the coronavirus crisis is hitting India than this. This is a makeshift crematorium. It's actually not meant to exist. This has been set up by the residents around here who cannot cope with the number of dead. Behind me are all the funeral pyres that represent a mother, a father, a daughter, a son, an uncle, a loved one to someone, a friend to someone. Each one of those fires is a coronavirus death. And we have been watching in just the last few minutes alone, they've been coming in virtually every second. They simply can't cope. And this is not one of the official funeral sites. This is an ad hoc one. One they're bringing in the wood as we wait to prepare for yet more casualties coming in.
48 साल अवस्था हो गई, लाइफ में ऐसा दृश्य भयावह हमने कभी नहीं देखा है। सोचा भी नहीं था कि एक साथ 20-22 डेड बॉडी जल रही हैं, 15-20 लाइन में हैं, जो कि इसके बाद 10-15 ठो आपके जो इसमें लगी हुई हैं इलेक्ट्रिक वाले पे।
हम लोग भी 5-6 घंटे पहले हम लोग आते थे तो मैक्सिमम या उसको कम से कम कहिए या ज़्यादा कहिए तो 10 से 15 मिनट ही लगता था। लकड़ियाँ इकट्ठी हो जाती थी और लाशों को लगा दिया जाता था, तो जलने में जितना।
Mass cremations begin in India as coronavirus deaths in the capital of New Delhi soar. If this continues, they say they would have no other choice but to cremate bodies on the road.
There are too many dead to cope with right now in parts of the Indian capital, and they're piled up in vehicles outside. It's massively distressing and hugely undignified. They're working all hours inside. They just can't stop. And it's been like this for the last 2 weeks, all day and all night. The bodies just keep on coming. Whilst we were there, bodies were being brought in every few minutes. There's no room left inside the crematorium, so they've spilled out into the open ground next door.
The Lord has spoken to me again right now.
Pán hovoril so mnou práve teraz, zobral ma do Indie. Pán ma zobral do nemocnice v Indii. Je tam veľmi veľké súženie. Je to srdce zdrvujúca situácia. Čo sa deje? Je to kalamita. India čelí druhej vlne.
Tragedy took place when we lost 20 precious lives. The 20s are not, madam, just a statistical number. They are all human beings. They were my patients. They were my responsibility. They came on faith of Dr. Baruja and Golden Hospital.
V Indii nemajú miesta v nemocniciach, v Indii nemajú miesta v krematóriách.
ये सर नई बन रही हैं चिताएं, क्योंकि अंदर जलाने के लिए जगह नहीं है, तो इसलिए नई यहाँ पर बन रही है और कुछ वहाँ पर बनाई जा रही है.
COVID-19 is spreading faster in India than anywhere else in the world.
And unfortunately, that record COVID cases surge continues. We're seeing the biggest surge in daily coronavirus cases in India.
Well, India is reporting its biggest daily surge in coronavirus cases since the pandemic began, crossing the 100,000 mark.
India has woken up to yet another peak in cases, the highest ever since the beginning of the pandemic reported in one single day.
The coronavirus crisis worsened in India as the nation reported more than 352,000 cases in the last 24 hours, with more than 2,800 deaths. This is the fifth consecutive day when India has reported more than 300,000 cases in a single day. India has recorded more than 2,000 deaths for the past 6 days in a row, now nearing 3,000.
The Lord has spoken to me again right now.
Pán hovoril som práve teraz, on ma zobral do Indie. Pán ma zobral do nemocnice v Indii. Je tam veľmi veľké súženie.
Well, the actual number of COVID-19 deaths in India is there are fears that cases are being undercounted as infections surge through the country.
India je otrasená s rekordným číslom denných prípadov.
And for the fifth day in a row, the Indian government has reported more than
352 991 za posledných 24 hodín. 500 000 prípadov denne v strede týždňa. 195 123 mŕtvych na COVID-19 v Indii. Odhadujú, že číslo bude oveľa vyššie, ako je uvedené v štatistike. India čelí druhej vlne. V pondelok bolo hlásené 315 000 nových prípadov. Odkedy pandémia začala, je to číslo, ktoré je najväčšie vôbec v národoch. Neočakáva lekár, že by sa znížili tieto počty. Lekári zúfalo potrebujú postele v nemocniciach a kyslík. India plače ku svetu pre pomoc. Pán hovoril so mnou práve teraz. On ma zobral do Indie. Pán ma zobral do nemocnice v Indii. Je tam veľmi veľké súženie. India plače k svetu pre pomoc. Není dostatok ani lekárov. Prosím, pošlite nám kyslík, lebo ináč zomrú tí ľudia. Malé nemocnice sú zatvorené, lebo nemajú dostatok prostriedkov ani kyslíkov a veľké nemocnice sú veľmi premožené. Dochádza im kyslík.
Ventilators are being packed into trucks from the UK heading for India.
The aim is to provide the support that the Indians need at their hour of need, really, if judging by the distressing scenes we've seen.
The Biden administration today said it will send vaccine materials and other medical supplies to hard-hit India. It has a dire shortage right now of oxygen, and its healthcare system is on the verge of collapse.
With regard to India, I spoke at length with Modi, Prime Minister. We are sending immediately a whole series of help that he needs, including providing for those remdesivir and other drugs that are able to deal with this and prevent, in some cases, but help recovery. Secondly, we are sending the actual mechanical parts that are needed for the machinery they have to build a vaccine. And that's being done as well. We're also I've discussed with him when we'll be able to send actual vaccines to India, which will be my intention to do.
The vaccine will absolutely help India, but it's going to take quite some time for it to have an impact.
Vakcína pomôže Indii, ale zaberie to nejakú dobu. Potrebujeme to tam dostať
Today
Potrebujeme
marks
tam
the fifth
pracovať.
straight day India has reported record coronavirus cases with more than 350,000 new infections.
India
And the country has been devastated
vydala
by its
správu
most
viac
recent
ako
outbreak.
315 000 nových prípadov.
And cases and hospitalizations are overloading and people are facing widespread
Spojené štáty
shortages of
posielajú
life-saving
očkovacie látky Indii.
The United Kingdom is sending life-saving medical equipment to help India during its unprecedented
Spojené kráľovstvo tiež posiela pomoc.
as Prime Minister Boris Johnson vowed to stand side by side with India as it records its highest numbers of new daily cases since the beginning of the pandemic. In total, 9 airline container loads worth of supplies, including 495 oxygen concentrators, 120 non-invasive ventilators, and 20 manual ventilators will be sent this week, according to Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab. The oxygen concentrators will be able to extract oxygen
Posielajú pľucné ventilátory, posielajú lekárskú pomoc, posielajú zariadenia do nemocníc v Indii.
Ursula von der Leyen, the president of the EU Commission, has also pledged to support India during its time of need.
Worsening COVID-19 crisis in India, Singapore became the first country from which India procured essentials. India on Saturday procured 4 oxygen tanks from Singapore. The process starts a major initiative to procure more essentials.
India dostala podporu takisto aj zo Singapuru. Kyslík.
India will soon be procuring these essentials from the UAE, Germany, France, Russia, the UK, EU, Australia and China have also offered their support. Meanwhile, SpiceJet on Saturday lifted 800 oxygen concentrators from Hong Kong to Delhi for emergency use in India. SpiceJet plans to bring more than 10,000 oxygen concentrators in the coming days from the globe.
Z celého sveta prichádza pomoc do Indie. Toto je smrteľná variácia COVID-19. Pán hovoril so mnou práve teraz. On ma zobral do Indie. Pán ma zobral do nemocnice v Indii. Je tam veľmi veľké súženie.
As the record surge in coronavirus cases, there might be another thing to worry about. A double mutant strain of COVID, which some believe is one of the reasons for the exponential surge in cases in India.
The Indian variant called B1617 has 2 key mutations in its spike
Mutácia
protein.
koronavírusu.
The first is called L452R.
Volá sa tá mutácia L452R.
California, although the Indian virus has evolved independently.
Identifikovali to v Kalifornii.
The second is called E484Q, a completely new mutation.
Druhá mutácia, kompletne iná, E474Q, mutácia koronavírusu.
The combination gives it the hallmark of a dangerous virus.
Nebezpečný typ vírusu. 3 rozdielne mutácie kombinované do jednej formy.
The India double mutation is a cause of concern, and now more and more evidence saying that it is likely to be something that has triggered this massive.
V tomto roku, v roku 2021 vznikla mutácia, vlastne trojitá mutácia koronavírusu.
Well, simply put, it refers to variants which have 3 different
kombinuje 3 rôzne.
To form a new variant.
Tie 3 rôzne formuje jednu formu koronavírusu.
Is it resistant to antibodies? Meaning, will vaccines work against these mutations? So far, there are no clear answers really, and that's the sad part when it comes to these pertinent questions, because India simply does not genome sequence enough to prepare a database. But 2 out of these 3 mutations in this variant are known to confer immune escape, making this not work against either acquired antibodies or the vaccine antibodies.
Tento trojitý mutantný kmeň je rezistentný na protilátky. A celoglobálne národy zakázali lety do Indie.
So big news coming in. India now on the red list to many countries. Indian flights now, passenger flights been banned into
Mimoriadne
Canada.
správy.
Canada now
Na zozname národov je India na červenom zozname,
COVID-19 cases.
kde sú lety zakázané do Indie a z Indie
About mutation, the mutant
kvôli novej
variant of the
mutácii
virus in India has
koronavírusu.
led to many countries now, including Canada, to ban passenger flights from India for the next 30 days.
The UK closes its doors to travellers from India as hospitals there run out of oxygen and infection rates hit levels unseen anywhere so far in the pandemic.
Little did we imagine that the once worst hit country of COVID-19, the United States, would send out an advisory to its citizens against traveling into India. Not just the US, many other countries have now raised their guard and put India on the travel red list, suspending entry of travelers from India. Let's start with Hong Kong. Hong Kong has now activated the emergency circuit breaker, which bans all passenger flights coming from India for 14-day period starting from April 20th. New Zealand also, earlier this month, has suspended entry of all passengers traveling from India. United Kingdom too has now put India on the travel red list. UAE has now banned all flights from India for the next 10 days starting April 25th. Canada
Mnohé národy pozastavili lety do Indie.
Passenger flights from India for the next 30 days starting April 22nd. India accounts for at least 20% of air travel into Canada, and Canadian officials now say a high number of passengers coming from India have now tested positive of COVID-19. This ban will, however, not apply to cargo flights to ensure smooth shipment of vaccines and other medical equipment. Now, the reason to why several countries are now drawing the line against travelers coming in from India is because internal surveys by the United Kingdom itself shows and suggests that at least 103 mutated variants of the COVID-19 has been found in India. The several mutated strains of COVID-19 cases found in India has raised serious concerns for people across the globe. The sheer numbers of active cases in India itself has deterred several countries from allowing its citizens to travel into India and vice versa. The United States Center for Disease Control itself has strictly advised its citizens against traveling into India.
So this red listing, and they do put it colorfully, has taken effect as of today, and the order is indefinite. It's likely to stay until matters in India get a good deal better and stay that way for a considerable period.
India je červenej farby na zozname krajín a bude, pokiaľ sa situácia nezmení.
Meanwhile, in Brazil, nearly about 4,195 Brazilians are said to have lost their lives due to the COVID-19 infection in the last 24 hours. And this is the highest single-day death toll that has been reported from Brazil. And the surge has come as the more contagious variant of COVID-19 infection is wreaking havoc across the South American nation. Now, the country's total death toll is now said to be a staggering 337,000, second only to the United States of America. The situation across Brazil is very grim, and the healthcare system has pretty much all but collapsed.
Saudi Arabia Tuesday banned arrivals from 20 countries, including India and the United States, in an effort to contain the spread of
Vidíme, ako Brazília tiež stoná pod návalom koronavírus postihnutými pacientmi.
The ban also included Lebanon, Turkey, Ireland, Italy, Portugal, Sweden, and Switzerland. Apart from the US and India, travelers from Argentina, Brazil, Indonesia, Pakistan, and South Africa have also been barred from entering the country. The temporary ban will also apply to travelers who passed through the 20 banned countries during the 14 days preceding the implementation of the ban, Saudi Arab's Interior Ministry said. At present, Saudi Arabia is reporting over 3.68 lakh COVID-19 cases and 6,383 deaths, according to the data obtained by Johns Hopkins University.
Just give us a little bit of perspective. on why the Saudi government took this decision to suspend flights.
As you know that these news about the new strain that is unfolding in UK and several other countries, including European countries and Australia, is really worrying and alarming, especially that the early indications is saying that it is more transmissible. And it is accumulation of multiple mutations in critical regions of the viral genome. So until we have more information, the government of Saudi Arabia, chose to take the most stringent measures to reduce the chances of importation of this strain into Saudi Arabia.
Pán vychádza von s vichrycou, aby zasiahol zem pre ich neprávosti, pre ich hriechy, pre ich vydierania, pre ich rúhania sa, neprávosti. Aleluja. Toho dňa ja vidím, že náročné dni sú pred vami. Pán vychádza von s vichrycou, aby zasiahol zem pre ich neprávosti, pre ich hriechy, pre ich vydierania, pre ich rúhania sa, neprávosti. Toho dňa ja vidím, že náročné dni sú pred vami. Oblak Boha prichádza z neba, aby navštívil zem. Takže toto sa vzťahuje na Nový Zéland, Spojené štáty americké, Európu, všade. Pán prichádza na zem. Oblak Boha prichádza. Európa, Fínsko, Španielsko, Spojené štáty, Južná Amerika, Concepción, Chile, celou cestou do Brisbaneu, Canberra, do Gisborne, Nového Zélandu, ku koncu zeme. Južná Korea, Incheon, Borion, Busan, Beijing, Šanghaj, Fushan. Pán prichádza do mesta a pritom Pán je tak trpezlivý. Dáva vám čas, požehnaní ľudia, medzi oznámení teraz a potom, aby ste neboli ovplyvnení jeho príchodom. A Pán to urobil, aby naplnil slova jeho služobníkov. Za účelom, aby potvrdil tomuto svetu. Že áno, iste, že Mesiáš prichádza. A každý potrebuje činiť pokánie a pripraviť cestu pre jeho príchod. Nech národe činia pokánie a navrátia sa ku svetosti. Pripravte cestu. Mesiáš prichádza. Prebudenecké stretnutie posledných časov. Ohromné, obrovské mega prebudenie posledných časov zasľúbené v Biblii. V meste Nakuru v Kenii, v meste Eldoret v Kenii, v meste Kakamega v Kenii, mesto Kisumu v Kenii. Boh Jehova, Ty si môj jeden jediný priateľ. Jehova Elohim, Jehova Elohejnum. Pozri, ja nemám žiadnych iných priateľov. Iba okrem Teba, Jehova. Oče, Ty môžeš začať tento mocný meeting tým, že uvoľníš Tvoj oheň, aby si sa dotkol usporiadateľov. Olej, oheň, 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 oheň. Mocný Otec, pastori na oltári, Čakáme na zvukové spojenie a na začiatok bohoslužby.
Hosana unani tosha. Mungu wangu we unani tosha, unani tosha.